This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topic news, it's back to normal now as classes have resumed at the 8 Mile Walk High School. Earlier this week, classes were interrupted after health officials were called in to investigate possible mold contamination in the classrooms. He says the Ministry of Grand Bahama is working diligently to fix the infestation of mold in the affected building.
The building in which the mold was found, that building has been taken off our schedule, and so work is expected on that by next week. All of the other classrooms were properly treated by Town and Country, and they did an excellent job, and so our teachers are satisfied for the most part. Many of them have returned to the classroom, and we are getting on with the business of education.
Now, Butler says going forward, teachers have been able to manipulate the timetable to come up with a schedule to keep all classes on campus.
No students are having classes in the gym. All of our classes are on campus, and all of our students are in class. As we speak, it is now our last class of today, and as you can tell, the campus is very quiet. And that means all our students are in class and our hardworking teachers are doing what they're getting paid to do.
Events in observance of Catholic Schools Week taken up a notch with the motorcade through the streets of Freeport today. The motorcade wrapped up with a pep rally where students were encouraged to lead productive lives. Megan Shepard has the story.
Crusaders kicking it up a notch for Catholic Schools Week with a pep rally at the Mary Star of the Sea Academy Auditorium. The auditorium was filled with enthusiasm as Coach McPhee caught the crowd going. A product of Catholic school education, Senator Kwesi Thompson delivering some words of advice to the students. He focused on this year's theme of faith, knowledge, and service.
Education will take us around the world. Education is so important. Education really opens many doors for us. Faith, that's one of the foundations that we should have. So I want to speak to them about having faith in God, having faith in themselves as well. And I also want to speak to them about service. You know, we should be proud to be a Bahamian. We should be proud of what the Bahamas has accomplished. And we as Bahamians should have service on our minds. You know, one of our purpose should be service to God first, service to country, and service to others.
In today's society, students can easily be sidetracked by a number of external factors. Senator Thompson notes how important it is to stay focused.
I believe one of the best ways that we could be focused really is having faith in God. I think that's one of the most well-rounded ways of becoming focused as a young person. When you have God as your foundation, that's one of the things that really focuses you on positive things. So I also want to tell them about education. I also want to tell them about other Bahamians who have accomplished great things. I want to give them some examples of some Bahamians who have done some really wonderful things. Some Bahamians who have actually come through these very same doors at Mary Star. So sometimes when you're able to show young people where other Bahamians have gone to, who have experienced the same things that they have experienced, it can focus them, it can inspire them to also accomplish great things.
Today's entertainment lineup also included rappers and the Crusader Step Team. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, police taking their crime prevention message to Coral Gardens today. The walkabout comes just weeks after officers converged in the area for a murder investigation. Kimberly Mullings was there.
Coral Gardens was the scene of Grand Bahama's first murder for the year. Concerned about the impact crime could have on the community, officers of the Eastern Division of the Lucaya Station conducted a walkabout in the area. Inspector Kosigan Ewing says the officers are just completing service and securing the area as they should be.
So we are just here to walk through the community to reassure members of this community that, hey, all is not lost. We are police officers. This is our community in which we police. And we want them to reassure them that, hey, to be their neighbor's keeper and look out for one another and feel free to call us at any time.
Inspector Ewing adds that the walkabout is something officers are mandated to do, as it helps to build meaningful relationships with residents.
Walking through the various communities in which we police, it helps us to get to know who the people are, and they also get to know us as police officers. By doing that, that helps us to build good relationships with members of the public, and they feel at ease and giving us information from time to time.
The residents of the Coral Gardens community welcome the presence of the officers with open arms. Ewing adds that he hopes this spirit of cooperation continues.
The police of the Lukai division, that we're here to assist all persons within this division, and feel free to call us at any time. If they have any information on any crimes within this district, feel free to call us, and we will definitely come and assist.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
In other news, mourners are expected to assemble in England on February 3rd for the funeral services for Sir Jack Hayward, the former honorary chairman of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, that is, passed away on January 13th. Tonight, a man who has worked closely with Sir Jack in recent years is reflecting on his contributions to Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard reports.
Consultant for the late Sir Jack Hayward, recalling the legacy and impact of the honorary chairman of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Peter Adderley says he found it incredible that his father, Sir Charles, began the legacy in the development of Freeport, and Sir Jack continued that with a passion. He recalled his first meeting at the Regency Theatre.
As a child, my mother would take us to all of the plays. I mean, literally all of the plays at the Regency Theatre. And that is when I first met Sir Jack when I was a teenager, and I marveled at his performances on stage, how he could hold a line. I learned later, I believe, that the father or the grandfather would have been involved in the circus or some amusement or something. There came the ability to entertain.
Adderley says their relationship developed over the years when he became a consultant for Sir Jack.
It was just a privilege to work with Sir Jack. I think he took a liking to me, the fact that I was an English major, and Sir Jack had a thing about carrying a red pen. He was very, very meticulous about proper grammar and spelling. So management and executives will tell you around the Grand Bahama Port Authority that he would make corrections with a red pen, and he sent some executives back crying with his reviews and his examination of the way things were documented. He was full of humor, full of life, but the spirit of giving, just incredible. What he did in the UK, and particularly what he did here in the Bahamas.
Adderley notes that Sir Jack was passionate about many things within the community, including sports, education, and community initiatives. But Adderley says he was able to see a different side to him.
I was able to see his quiet life. He shared a partnership on Seashell Lane with Francis Singer Hayward, and there I found his love for reading, quiet time. And he was rich, but he certainly had the common touch. And I think because of his mentorship and his leadership, the likes of Sarah St. George and Ian Roll are capable of carrying on that legacy and running the Port Authority to its fullest, its full potential, and bringing back the glory days of Grand Bahama.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Now tune into TV 13 tonight for a special show remembering Sir Jack. That show airs at 8:30 p.m. tonight. Stay with us. There's more news right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The government getting a good idea of how its concession program is helping to promote economic activity in the outlying areas of the island. Today, the Minister for Grand Bahama toured a seafood company in the West that was able to benefit from the concession program. Italia Hall reports.
Many proprietors throughout Grand Bahama are taking advantage of the duty-free concessions being offered by the government. Owner of Boardwalk Seafood, Kirk Neely, were one of the recipients of this concession, and the company has seafood ranging from conch to lobster and stone crab that are being caught daily by Bahamian fishermen and then exported to the U.S. The Minister for Grand Bahama took a tour to assess how the concessions are being used.
For too long, the residents who live in Freeport benefited from the duty-free concessions. We felt that by the implementation of this initiative to East and West Grand Bahama, we will not only activate existing businesses to expand, but to create the entrepreneurial juices that is necessary to create jobs in West Grand Bahama. I'm so pleased today that I'm in West End to speak directly with Mr. Neely, one of the recipients of the duty-free concessions for East and West Grand Bahama, to see exactly how these concessions are benefiting him as a business person. I was pleasantly surprised that he's growing by leaps and bounds, but what is really even more important to me is the fact that so many young residents from West End are now coming back to the fishing industry and capitalizing on the benefits that exist at sea.
Operator Kirk Neely says this initiative is helping young entrepreneurs like himself to help build West Grand Bahama.
Leaps and bounds we've made in terms of producing product, whether it was conch, whether it was lobster, stone crab, and in a lot of instances it was because of the assistance of the concessions. We've gotten totes that we've never had, we've gotten an abundance of baskets, crab traps, ropes. I think we even have now we have a shave ice machine that provides not only ice for me, but I'm able to now provide it for the local fishermen and that sort of stuff. So it's helping the community.
Boardwalk Seafood is also providing job opportunities for fellow Bahamians.
We don't have enough people, and hopefully we can get more people interested, even if we have to go into the schools, maybe the high schools, 11, 12 graders, and encourage them to think about fishing as an industry. It's a well-paid industry. The guys that work for Boardwalk, they're out there, they're fishing, they're making good money, and they're quite satisfied.
It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry for Grand Bahama continuing its observance of majority rule. Today, a group of heroes and heroines of majority rule were presented with certificates of appreciation for their role in the struggle to the big achievement in the country's history. Minister for Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darville, says the contributions of those men and women in that significant process cannot be overstated.
I'd like to thank the committee for the excellent work they have done thus far to archive this important piece of information. As you are aware, we celebrated the second majority rule celebration here on Grand Bahama. We anticipate next year the celebration will be bigger and better, and we are going to use our creative juices to ensure that the young people in this community, as well as visitors alike who come to the island of Grand Bahama, understand the history of Grand Bahama. Next year, we intend to do a very aggressive educational program.
Minister Darville thanked the group for helping to pave the way to a better way of life for Bahamians.
The people of Grand Bahama who enjoy a lot of the benefits that we do today due to the personal sacrifices of men and women like yourself, we want to thank you, and we definitely want to honor you for the part and the roles you played leading up to majority rule.
A Canadian duo are here on Grand Bahama to promote a worthy cause. They have left blizzard-like conditions in Canada to travel to Grand Bahama for a special performance set for this Friday. Known as the Fortunate Ones, they stopped by our ZNS radio studios for a live chit-chat Wednesday morning to share their contemporary style of music and songs. For Andrew James O'Brien and Catherine Allen, they're humbled to be a part of such a rewarding experience.
We're trying to raise some money to send some Bahamian kids to performing arts school, basically to further their arts education. And it's the Bahamian Performing Arts Society, and we're just honored that they decided that we were worthy of helping them out. So we're here to play some songs on Friday night and hopefully raise some money for the kids.
All our music is original music that we perform. We throw in a couple covers, of course, now and again. But yeah, a positive message I think is really important for us, definitely.
Now, the couple say they are the envy of their family and friends back home in Canada. They, like countless visitors, have discovered why it is indeed better in the Bahamas.
I've actually been to the Bahamas before. We were here about 2 years ago through our friend Brendan Paddock, and we're so lucky to be here. Canada is just being snowed in right now, so we swam in the ocean yesterday, and it's just great to be here, and also to be able to contribute to the community through the Grand Bahama Performing Arts Society is very special this trip.
Back home right now, it's freezing. You could skate on the ocean back home, so we're enjoying it. We're gonna get our base tan going. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. We say sorry for all the pictures we're putting on Twitter.
I'm trying not to put too many pictures online because people are so jealous.
We try to pretend like we're freezing in all the photos. It's great.
Well, that event set for the Hawksville Yacht Club tomorrow night. And speaking of the freezing temperatures, the island of Grand Bahama has been experiencing a wind chill for the past several days. With that in mind, Bishop Godfrey Williams of Jubilee Cathedral thought it would be timely to bless students of the Beacon School and the Grand Bahama Children's Home with 36 warm jackets for the girls and a number of polo shirts for the boys. Williams says he is always touched by those who are less fortunate.
I have a daughter as well who's 25 years old, and she is now confined to a wheelchair. And when I come here to the Beacon School and I thought about who can we help and assist in this generous donation from Diane and Ron Cacciatore. They were the ones who believe in what I'm doing in terms of distribution and helping those who are less fortunate and are in need. They decide that through my influence and their influence, they were able to get these jackets and to give them to me to make distribution as I choose. I thought about the children's home, and then I thought about the Beacon School, those kids who are challenged and sometimes they're overlooked.
Of the Beacon School, Sheila Johnson-Smith, and principal of the Beacon School, T.T. Mackenzie Moss, says these jackets come at a time when some of the children had nothing to keep their bodies warm.
Bishop Williams, his family, and his congregation, they are part of the Children's Home family. They have given us in the past, and they continue to look out for our children who are less fortunate. This, as Bishop said, this is the great time because it's cold. Our children are in need of jackets and sweaters because we really do not have it. And so this is just a blessing for our children, and we're so happy and delighted.
There's a lot of the kids in the Beacon School, now that it's cold, they came to school without jackets. So now we can guarantee that all of our girls and our boys will actually come to school with something warm to keep them warm. So we are very thankful and grateful for this donation.
And of course, these jackets are very stylish if you look at that.
Exactly, very stylish. So I know the girls will be very happy to put these on, especially John Canoe is this weekend, and we're participating in John Canoe. So I'm sure they're going to come out with their jackets.
Now, Bishop Williams says a mass donation of boys' jackets will come in the near future. Stay with us. Ricardo Liborn has a check on sports when we return.
Remembering Sajak this Thursday at 8:30 p.m. only on TV 13. Please tune in.
Everybody, it's time for sports with Ricardo Liborn. Let me tell you a good one for you folks. Let me tell you, William Martinburg is celebrating tonight, and also Jaden Balfour. She named that child Balfour. My God. Anyhow, Tennis Unlimited is really moving, folks, and to tell you what, you will find that the Grand Bahama experience with the tennis courts is fine. Kimberly Mullings is on the tennis beat.
Students at Freeport Primary School now get the opportunity to play tennis during PE. Head coach of the Physical Education Department, Pamela Lewis, says being exposed to new sports while young helps students to find their niche and give them time to develop it.
The whole idea about the tennis lessons is to have the children try to find out what sport they're interested in and what they can be good at. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to bring them out to tennis, because we also do swimming and other sports, basketball, softball. So once they've captured their talent and they feel as though this is for them, then that's great. Then they can move on from there.
Tennis instructor Sharon Green over at Royal Oasis Country Club Tennis Courts is providing beginner lessons for the students, free of charge to raise awareness of the sport. She says there are many benefits for those who play the lifelong sport, especially if they start early.
Tennis helps in so many ways. The younger they start, the better. It helps them with focusing, attention when they're in school. So for the students that we have, that is one of the things that I really concentrate on.
Because of tennis's benefits and opportunities ranging from scholarships to health, this year Coach Green plans to get at least 500 students in Grand Bahama exposed to the sport and even host competitions at the school level on the island.
We have now been blessed to be working with students from Freeport Primary. We will also be doing Walter Parker, Hugh Campbell, and Maurice Moore. It helps them with their schoolwork, concentration, focus, and also the competition. And I really look forward to having an inter-school competition at the end of this school year.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Total Sports.
Well, the primary school softball scores are on the board in Eco Granita Doherty League, and here we go. Tabernacle boys defeated Holmes Rock 13-4. Walter Parker down Freeport Gospel 17-11. Maurice Moore over Martintown 14-4, and Bishop Michael Lullen put away Freeport Primary 15-zip. Hugh Campbell topped Grace Christian Academy 10-3. Now on the basketball side of things, in the Derek Nesbitt O.B. Wilshcombe High School League, Sandline Senior Boys over St. George's 57-44. That's a pretty good one. Tabernacle defeated Igmarock 50-37. Jack Hayward Seniors over Canada National as well 40-31. And also the Senior Boys playoffs will start on Monday. Here's your matchup. Sandline takes on Igmarock. Tabernacle and St. George's should be a pretty good one. Now, let me tell you that the Grand Bahama Basketball Association on court, Lady Flames defeating the Lady Predators 30-27. The Saints and Stingers also winners, so let's take a little trip to St. George's Gym. The Coca-Cola Saints ready to play ball. The Showtime Knights are ready to rumble. The Knights got off first with some pretty good passing and a cutter for the easy deuce. This one was a prime example of transition basketball and the Knights with the system going. The Saints found their groove and found a range from the arc. We've got ourselves a ball game. The Knights coach simply was jawing at the mouth and the officials had enough. That's a technical foul. No more from you, guy, or else you're gone. The Saints coach Dudley said doesn't want any part of that. 50-all is our score in the fourth. Despite the tech on the coach, the Knights stuck to the game plan and the points on the board. The Saints are a well-coached team and gave no quarter. Watch the dish to the shooter. That's good for a tray. Coca-Cola then turned up the heat on defense and forced the turnovers, and the result, a 58-54 win. Coach Said will take it, and all smiles. It's not all Stingers and the Grand Bahama Power Bullets was on court, and this one was simply all Stingers from the opening tip-off. The turnovers were costly for the Bullets and shooting blanks. Statoil defeated GB Power 67-29. Khalil Solomon netted a game-high 20 points, and the Bullets got 10 from Jamal Williams, and they've got some very big questions. And also they're going to play some volleyball, and I got to say to Jaden Balfour, that's my little friend. He's a nice little guy. I only teasing him. They come into this world, how they get here, only mom and daddy know. That's it for sports.